Well, this has gone down badly, hasn't it, with a lot of charities, disabled groups. It could really put them off travelling by train, Liam.
It does make it a lot more difficult to travel by train if we have to rely on ticket machines that now very rarely take cash. It's all cards. Over 1 million people in the UK, 1 million adults, don't even have a bank account, so they don't have a debit card. Or even more complicated for a lot of older people, you've got to buy a ticket using an app on your smartphone, which often means you need to be in an area with proper 4G reception or in a Wi-Fi hotspot. It really does make it a lot more complicated. Let's have a look at some of the numbers involved. Now, the train operating companies, they're just the latest businesses that are trying to get away from the costs of handling cash, both in terms of banking and people. They want to close down ticket offices. Pre-pandemic, 2019, 24% of tickets were bought at ticket offices. That's now just 12% of tickets are bought at ticket offices. But for those people that are buying tickets at ticket offices, they want to talk to somebody. They want to, what are my options? What's the best deal? I've got a family of 4. This kid's 15. This kid's 17. Stuff that you can't really get from an app. There are actually 229 offices across England, that are staffed full-time these days. That's 17%. But 708 offices are staffed part-time. So 40 plus 17, 57% of train ticket offices are staffed at least part of the day. And that has implications in terms of safety on platforms, in terms of user-friendly facilities. And for a lot of people, particularly older people, the ability to just put some money on the counter and get your train ticket. You mentioned it when we were talking about train tickets there. It's not just train tickets, is it, that people want to use cash for? Try parking in the middle of lots of towns and cities these days. You've got to download apps. It's often very, very difficult. If you've got no reception, your phone's running out. People just want to put a few quid into a machine, but businesses don't want to handle the costs of that. But here at GB News, we are running this campaign, Don't Kill Our Cash.
And where are the numbers at the moment? Because they're rising pretty rapidly, aren't they?
I'll come to the numbers of how many people have signed our petition in just one moment. But let's just look at...
in suspense.
Let's just look at the numbers in terms of how many people are using cash these days. If we go... I think we've got the graphic. If we go back to 2012, you had 60% of transactions were cash. These days, it's just 30% of transactions, Pip and Mark. And by 2035, it will be less than 10% of transactions. These are numbers from UK Finance, which is kind of the industry body group for the British banking sector. And already we've got cash deserts. 20%, a fifth of holes in the wall, ATMs have closed since 2018. So for an awful lot of people, they can't actually get hold of cash. And when they get hold of cash, they can't use cash. And if you go onto gbnews.com/cash, you can sign our petition. Less than 48 hours ago, we started this campaign. We're already at almost 110 signatures,
which brilliant.
And one individual person can only sign once. It's not like people are signing up multiple times.
And just explain the significance of that 100,000.
Once you're over 100,000, you can then lobby parliamentary authorities, which I will be doing this evening. I'm going to a meeting tonight where there'll be some ministers there and other parliamentarians, and I'll be lobbying them for a full parliamentary debate.
Well, in fact, we had 2 parliamentarians in here only an hour or so ago, and they are backing the campaign, which is great. So hopefully they will spread the word.
I really don't think it's a backward thing to want to keep cash. People say, oh, why don't you just get with the technology and all the rest of it? Look, over 1 million people haven't got bank accounts, right? Not just people like Nigel Farage who are worried, the banks might be worried or not about their political profile or what they think. I'm talking about ordinary men and women, many of whom have jobs. They just haven't got bank accounts because they haven't got the credentials or they haven't lived in the same place for long enough. Maybe their financial background's been a little bit unfortunate or chaotic. And on top of that, there are over 10% of households that don't have access to the internet at all, including lots of kids. So it's not just an older person thing. People want to use cash. They want to put cash in a birthday card. They want to tip a busker or a waiter or a waitress.
Is that problem about the demographic that, yes, youngsters are more used to doing stuff online and using their phones and so on, but, dare we say, those of a certain age aren't used to that? And I'm just looking at the quote from the Rail Delivery Group on the ticket offices. Jacqueline Starr, our customers buy tickets, the way our customers buy tickets has changed, and it's time for the railway to change with them. Well, that's fair enough maybe for the youngsters, but there's a huge group, really, that don't want that.
And there's a lot of cost-saving backside covering going on there. Oh, we want to make the railways work better for you. Well, try turning up to a railway station in the middle of the afternoon and there's no one to talk to, you haven't got a smartphone, and then, of course, you'll get fined when you go on the train if you haven't got a ticket. They'll be quick to fine you.
Yeah.
But the difficulties...
Or even not the proper ticket as well. That's
Indeed. The railway ticketing system is so complicated. There are many different variations of tickets. You can get split save and, off-peak and super off-peak and day returns.
It's complicated. And actually, my local ticket office in Oxfordshire, it is always busy.
Yeah.
Even though there's machines there is always a queue of people doing exactly what you're doing,
right.
trying to split their journeys, trying to work out the best way. They'll be stuffed if this happens.
So, again, I like technology. I think progress is a great thing in terms of innovation and so on. But there are an awful lot of people there who don't want to lose our cash. And I think this GB News petition could really make a noise. We're not just talking about a debate in Parliament. We should be aiming now for 250,000 signatures and legislation.
Well, let's go for it.
Thank you for that.